question. I thought about that constantly.
Mm.
That's my fear. But what we discussed is like sex is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is, it creates life, and it's not to be shied away from. It's to be celebrated. And these two people in this dream, they come together, they form a bond. They get the ring going on the finger, and then that's consummating that relationship. And I didn't think it was sacrilegious at all.
This nun, Sister Ewing, is pregnant with twins. She claims it's immaculate.
You don't think that these children are from God?
I think all children are from God.
She says her two unborn kids talk to her, and that she knows that one of them is good.
Jim.
Sorry, I was occupied for a second watching Europa League soccer, and my big bets that I had parlays going. So,
how's it going?
All
Is it good day or bad?
33-cent parlay. I need like 20 some things happen. I probably, Father Fox and all the prayers in the world wouldn't help my situation to winning this. So
All right, awesome.
Oh man, I'm excited to talk to you guys. I don't know where to start with this. I mean, first of all, my impression is you guys are some twisted, imaginative, bold fucks. I mean, in the best way possible, complimentary.
Thank you.
You guys put out something. I was literally glued in throughout. I didn't know what was going to happen with this film. So I'm curious to start. How did this whole process of putting the script together start? Because like you guys, there's a premise, but there's things stacked up constantly in this film as you watch it more and more. What was the brainstorming process? Were you guys trying to outdo each other with like, this could happen next and this could happen next? I'm just curious how that whole process went, because it was imaginative for sure.
That's such a compliment. Thank you. Leroy, go ahead.
Yeah, so the idea just started me and my dad in a brewery, and he pitched this idea. There's a nun that's pregnant with twin boys. One's the Messiah, one's the Antichrist. And I was just blown away. I was like, that's one of the best ideas I've ever heard. And so I immediately started writing it with my brother, and we got a draft. And basically the draft would be what like the first and second movie would be. And that's what we brought to crew. And then that's when crew got involved, and it's like, okay, let's save this for potential sequel. Let's focus on just this part of the story. And then we started the rewriting process, and just making sure that everything fit together within the prophecy, having a clear idea, and what we were trying to say with each character, basically, like what was their journey of faith, and then weaving that story around that.
Did you guys have a clear end point, or was it kind of open end in a sense where you may be like, okay, we're leaving some room potentially to see what comes out of the what you had originally kind of said, the beginning basis of it? Or was it locked in from the start? This is how we kind of want to finish the story, or go towards this direction? Or was it more open ended where you guys had some wiggle room maybe along the way?
Wouldn't you say the ending has always been the ending, and it's just like, I feel like that's what as long as you have an ending, then you can usually write towards it.
Oh, so you're working backwards in that sense.
Yeah, Leroy and Kane had the ending, which I won't say what it means. We'll let the audience interpret that.
Oh, great! I was going to ask for that, but because it's boggling my mind, I can't figure it out.
The whole point is to like really open up the world of possibilities of what's going to happen. Where's Vox Day now? It's all gone. We know it's an organization. We established the foundation of them and what their purpose is. Now the next task would be raising these children, and ultimately for Samuel to battle his brother Jacob. What does that look like? And in like the world we live in, not in cinema, but in the world we live in. And we thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have potential? Did you see a long-term story in a sense for sequels and more of that where you have ideas where this could go individually, or is that something that you're kind of on the drawing board and willing to explore? Because there's open-ended possibilities, no question about that. Did you guys have an idea like, oh yeah, we kind of have like 3 movies in our minds as we do this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm most excited. What would be the 3rd movie when they're 30 years old, where it's like the stakes are really serious.
Yeah.
But then another one that it's the prequel is something both of us would love to do 1,000 years ago at the origins of Vox Day, when they become aware of this prophecy and that they've stopped this prophecy from happening in the past. So,
oh, that's cool. That's a franchise right there, you know. So we're on to something. I gotta ask you that one scene. It really stayed in my mind. The sex scene. It was an intense sex scene. And I'm just thinking, like, you have crosses, you're like I'm thinking, are you guys superstitious at all? Because I would be psyching out on set if I had to do this scene, because I'm like, I don't know what curses might come after me, because that is almost sacrilegious to do, but it was so bold and visually, like, it was almost like I don't know how to even describe it. It was almost like taboo in a sense, but so mesmerizing, and the way it was shot too. I mean, first of all, credit to your crew, because awesome cinematography and also music too in the background. I thought it worked well with everything, but that scene in particular, do you guys kind of think about that, or is just like you go for it? Because I'm like, wow, I would be kind of thinking twice or be messing with my mind to do something such an intense scene.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure we both would want to answer part of this question. I thought about that constantly. That's my fear. But what we discussed is, like, sex is beautiful. Sex is, it creates life, and it's not to be shied away from. It's to be celebrated. And these 2 people in this dream, they come together, they form a bond. You get the ring going on the finger, and then that's consummating that relationship. And I didn't think it was sacrilegious at all. Once we put those those layers in there. Leroy, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that since the dreams are basically God talking to them, and that since she comes forward with the wedding ring, and that they're supposed to be married, and they're supposed to create a family outside of the 2 babies, and exactly what Crew said is that, like, through that kind of like relationship, especially, and that's why it's like with Catholics or Christians or anyone that's religious, or just people in general, that it takes away the sacrilegious part. It's like, oh, this is a marriage, or it's a sacrament.
But the visuals of it are just amazing. Especially there's like a little pan away shot. You have like the statue, I think, of Virgin Mary, and then the cross is all over. I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen something like that, in a film. I can't remember seeing a scene like that. I thought it was really a super interesting scene, and just the visuals of it are so polarizing, and it just captivates it, and like you guys explained, it makes sense, with the story of it. But I was just thinking, I'm like, I hope you guys aren't like superstitious, because no bad voodoo or anything coming after that.
It's a good vibe. I found my future wife, fiance, and we already have a kid. So whatever it was, through doing it.
Maria, I thought she was great. I thought her facials are fantastic, and just the way she projected energy. What was that experience like? Because you guys share, Leroy, a lot of scenes together, intimate scenes and stuff. But was it instant chemistry and click that you guys had? Because it works.
Yeah, she as we used to say, she just became one of the boys. We were in COVID lockdown for, at least they had to get to Estonia 2 weeks before. So everyone was there early, and me and Isaac and Thomas and Crew, we were telling, you're the responsible one, wouldn't do it as much with us. And Vera, we would drink really late into the night and just hang out, listen to all like full albums, like on stuff. And so we created that kind of just friendship really fast that allowed us to, do this and feel comfortable.
Oh, that's super cool. It shows. I mean, it shows where you can see chemistry on screen, and really like actors really working together and going for it too. In that case, Crew, is there anything Leroy didn't go for? I felt he was so bold as an actor in this film.
Oh, man.
Is there anything that you guys like, oh, we're cutting that off, or no, we can't do that? Or I can't imagine, Leroy, you saying no to anything, actually, at this point.
We couldn't control him. We could only contain him. You know what I mean? Like, he wanted to go underwater when we did the ice cross. It's night. It was negative 16 degrees, 22 inches of ice we had to cut through. And
so that was legit. I was gonna ask you guys if that was like real ice and everything, because that was another scene that kind of stays with you. And when you, wow.
And everyone in his family had called me and said, is there any way you could talk him out of doing this? And I was like, yeah, he's gonna have a wetsuit on, he's gonna do this and that, but they didn't know he was gonna go underwater. So Estonians, it's a big part of their culture, is like a sauna, ice bath. They didn't think, they were like, oh, this is great. They gave him points. But then he found out on the night of he was gonna go under. He was gonna actually go underwater, and they were like, this is a bad idea.
They said that. If they said that, then you know what I mean, then
he's gotta be crazy. I was like, it's gonna be on the last take. He's been training for it for, I don't know, at this point, 3 months. And then he ran into the water. And then when he come out, he would, like our talk before, because we had a jib with a long arm on it, and we tracked with him as he ran into the water. And then he searches. It was all in one shot.
Oh, one shot. Wow. Okay.
And we ended up cutting it up in order to create more intense moment. But he's searching around, and then he goes under the water. And our talk before, it was Leroy. It was like focused and crisp and like very like sure of exactly what he wanted to do. And then after he came out of that water, it was like someone just punched him in the face. I loved it.
Wow, I mean, you guys, like I said, the cinematography, the crew you guys assembled together was fantastic. It made this movie look like a few $1 million and more, you know, even though I'm sure the budget wasn't too high and that thing, but you guys made it look fantastic, and everything matched up and synced up with the sound, and now knowing even the backstory of these things, like Leo actually going for it, and there was no CGI here, you know, it seems everything was legitimate. That just adds another layer and element to the realism of it all. And wow, I'm impressed.
Oh man, thanks, Jim. We appreciate it.
This was really cool, guys. You like I said, I see tons of movies, and you guys had my attention from the get-go, and came in strong from the opening scene too. As I end this, that opening scene, totally jarring, you know, like, wow, what is going on? That stuff is usually reserved for like ends of movies or whatnot. Was that something you guys were going for, like a big impression from the start, like opening scene, we're like gonna really freak people out or do something here?
We talked about having just something that was just like actually evil and violent in such a such a real way, so that you could viscerally see it, and because we wanted to be able to do that slow burn, or that like, so it would stick with you, so you knew what was at stake. And then we were working on the prophecy, and then actually it was Crew's idea that this prophecy should be handed down. And like we kind of talked about that, like all the stories and all the traditions that we have, it's like from these lived experiences, like putting it on the body would be the perfect way for them to do this. And so that's Crew's sick idea. He's responsible for that.
I'm twisted.
Perfect combo, you know, and add your dad, Leroy, to the mix. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I know.
Get an imprint on this for sure.
100.
I mean, unbelievable all around. I hope you guys have a prequel and a sequel, because I'm intrigued to see where you guys can go next. I'm sure it's going to be bigger, bolder, and wilder, if it even can be. But you guys have accomplished something really unique, and credit to both of you for really bringing a team together that made this vision come true. So awesome job all around.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
And Leroy, I know you have a birthday coming up, so happy early birthday, by the way. So
yeah, thank you. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah.
He doesn't even know he's so involved in this film. That's a good thing.
It's the next day. It's not tomorrow. It's the next day. Yeah.
Well, you guys have something to celebrate for sure. So I can't wait to talk to you guys again. But awesome job all around. So I'm glad I was able to tell you guys that.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the interview.
Take care, guys. Talk soon.
Bye-bye.